Here we have the wooden ramp, a friction car. The wooden ramp is resting on a couple of supports here, and the friction car accelerates down the ramp. We can determine the acceleration by measuring the distance the friction car goes from the front of the car, wherever the front of the car ends up. We would probably want to put some kind of a stopper down here so that when the friction car gets to the end, it hits the stopper and we know exactly when it ends, so that we can determine by letting the friction car coast from rest down the ramp the acceleration, or at least the average acceleration of the friction car. We want to do the average acceleration versus the slope of the ramp, and from that we're actually going to determine the acceleration of gravity. To determine the slope of the ramp, first of all we at least assume that the table is level. You could take the line level in your kit and measure the level of your table if you wish, but it turns out, as we'll see in the analysis of the experiment, that that isn't all that important as long as the table is nearly level. We measure the height of this end, and we measure the height at this end, both sides of the ramp. Make sure it's nice and level. And we record the heights of the ends. And we also, of course, measure the length of the ramp, which is approximately 60 centimeters. And from those measurements, we'll be able to determine the slope of the ramp. From the time measurements, we'll be able to determine the average acceleration of the car at each slope. And from that, we will be able to determine how the acceleration varies with the slope of the ramp.